What's up, guys? In today's video, I'm going to be sharing the bottlenecks we are currently facing at $3 million a month in cash collected in our info coaching business. We're going to go through marketing, some of the funnels, and what we're stuck at in each one of these, the sales, bottlenecks, fulfillment, and admin, tech, and overhead. And then we're going to identify which one is the biggest lever to pull right now of our current bottlenecks. Last year, we did 30 million in cash collected in our info coaching business. We've now crossed over 78 million, actually, I think now, in total cash collected. And I'm not selling you anything. Everything on the channel is just to share what did work for us, what did not work for us, and what we are actively doing to scale to 100 million a year, all with the goal of finding top talent, opportunities, and networking with cool people, building cool stuff. All right. So right now we're at about 3 million a month. We're trending actually a little bit less than that. We're trending like 2.95 right now for this month, but last month we did over 3 million in cash. And these are our funnel stacks. So I have a lot of videos talking about these, so I'm not going to beat this to death, but essentially you have a VSL opt-in funnel that comes through here. It's a call booking funnel. So they apply, book a call, talk to a setter sometimes, and then talk to a closer. You also have a direct to application. So you have someone who just applies direct on page. They don't have to opt in or anything to do so. And then you have a low ticket ascension that does not optimize for AOV and upsells and stuff, optimizes to get them on the phone with a setter to then push them to a closer. All right. And do qualifications. So with marketing right now, and on each one of these funnels, there we go. So for marketing, we just, if we were to identify just the bottlenecks that are in marketing right now, if I started with the VSL brand face one. So with the VSL, this thing has always worked for us as like the core, but we just kind of hammered it too hard. So we did 71 million through this one funnel right here. And now we're layering in different ones that have different brand faces, different messaging and all of that. And the biggest thing with these is just getting the cost in alignment. So we're just testing these right now. And these have always been kind of the tried and true for us. So I wouldn't really identify as like a full on bottleneck, but it is definitely like, the issue more so, and I'll get to it a little bit later, is kind of what's happening post, but it's all around the messaging. So we're getting the right cost per application, right cost per call, that they're not backing out. So you could push that into sales and be like, oh, sales isn't closing, but I can get to that. I'm going to get to that in the next one. But really what it is the overall framing in the VSL is the beginning, the framing that's in the VSL and in the messaging prior to the booking in alignment with what's after. I just did a video with Jeremy Haynes. And he talked a lot about this, is how marketing, like, do your absolute best on the marketing standpoint so that really your closers are essentially just cashiers. And like, we're really, really thinking about that, because I think a lot of what is happening, especially these new funnels that we're launching, it is really compelling, but like when they go to apply, they're not really as aligned with knowing that it's, thousands of dollars for a program or XYZ. So that then when they book, and then post-booking, we hit them with all this stuff that's talking about like cost objections and all the value exchange, all that kind of stuff. It like puts them off, and then the cancel and no-shows are increasing. So the bigger issue there is what we're getting through VSL brand face, as well as DTA on the show and close, is the actual live call, the cost per live call, not necessarily just cost per call, because the show rate is getting all wonky with this, even though we have like all the best practices in place, which kind of just goes back to the whole like golden thread of the continuity and the congruency across it. So for the DTA, same thing. For DTA, it's just kind of it's more so about how the application framing is, especially if it's just right there available to click, or you have to go in the direction, which a lot of people do, but usually it's for direct to cart, where they will have just no button pop until like the actual CTA. So they'll land on a page that's just headline VSL, and it'll sit there with no button until it hits the CTA like 20 minutes later. So think like ClickBank offers or stuff like that. There's a ton of people who run these, but usually it's when they're buying something direct, instead of like booking or applying and then booking a call. So I don't know. On this one, we're kind of like stuck on this one a little bit. It's working, but like really only for retargeting piece. So it's like can't stand alone. And then this one is the biggest lever for me right now in the marketing bucket of like bottlenecks, is this low ticket. So for us right now, we're selling this, but it's like an original, it's an OG one that I made. And it really just kind of, again, also acts more as a retargeting. This is truly like the only piece that's acting really, really good for cold. And we're spending, tens and tens of thousands of dollars a day. So a majority of it will go up here, and this will pick up pieces of it. But what we need is somewhere where this works for us better. So right now it's just not a cold friendly enough like positioning or offer. So we can't scale it beyond, XYZ 50, 100, 150, whatever number a day. And we need to go to hundreds a day in order to make it so the math that checks out across these gets this to where you can close 20, 30 units a day, which would mean hundreds a day on this. Obviously then in conjunction with these, but so we just need to crack that. So we have a senior copywriter that's like completely on this right now. It's like the only thing he's doing. And then we're going to start testing positioning. But this in marketing land is for sure, in my opinion, because these have the highest show rate and the highest close rate, these through here. I just think that the economics are the best as long as the cost per acquisition stays in pocket, which it doesn't do at scale with this one. So we need to crack something that right here we can keep the cost per acquisition low enough that it works, the net cost net cost per acquisition. So yeah, that's for that one. For sales, what we're seeing right now is back. I just want to put this one on top because show rates is kind of like marketing and sales, but show rates is huge right now. I don't know what is going on. Like clearly something changed. We have all these different launches that are happening. We have some changes that are happening in sales. All the automation should have stayed the same. We also have seasonality with it being June and fitness and 46-year-old women and that kind of stuff with like kids stuff and summer and whatever, where that does happen. But like, I don't want to blame seasonality. So really leaning in on the marketing front on how we can fix these and on the tech front of what we can do with automations and shows. But I think it's really going to come down to the framing. So we solve for this and get another 20, 30, whatever percent back because for whatever reason, we're like literally 50% blended. All the ones that talk to a setter or come through these funnels or come through whatever are like 75, 80%. But the issue is they're like not even claimed or they're not, confirmed with a setter. So the setters are reaching out and trying to confirm them or trying to do it through here and they just won't even answer. So it's like they booked, but then they didn't. So it's like you might as well cut or double your cost per call because your cost per live call is literally double. So if you're getting, $100 bookings, it's actually $200 for a live call and then your costs get all wonky. And you already see that in the CPA, but this is the biggest one right here. I think management, we had some changes in management in the sales realm, and that just always creates hiccups. So we are working on this kind of like actively right now, more of a cultural, like people side of things, less of a skill-based thing. So we're solving for this right now, which then also leads to consistency. So we'll have, 150K day and like a 50K day, and then like 140K day, and then like, we're kind of back into that land a little bit. It is a little bit better than it was. I don't know how long you guys have been watching, but I'm on day like 108 or 9 in a row of doing these, and on first 20, 30 days, I was talking about how we would have like 30K days and like 80K days. And now it's like 50, 60K day and then like 150K days. So like we're in the right direction or back to the right direction, but still this needs to be like hammered out so that we have consistency across a 7-day. And that also is the same thing for availability. So we'll have a third to like a 1/3 to 1/2 of the amount of availability on the weekends, which is just not cool because then they get overbooked. Then you're like burning cash because you're spending into it. Show rate stuff, if you don't have setters on to confirm, like we just have an issue with coverage. So that also hurts the consistency. So working on that. And then once these are solved, and I forgot on here, I can't actually type now, but consistency and consistency in performance. So making sure the offer rate and the close rate across team are in alignment, that we're getting rid of people on team, obviously only ones that like are not performing, and can optimize for that, but that comes through management. And then volume. Once these are dialed in, then it's like, okay, cool. Now we can add 2-5 reps a month and scale into that, but can't do that. You don't want to, there's just no reason to scale on like a shaky foundation. So we are rushing to get this fixed or to get this set up because this makes their job easier. And then when their job is easier, these things come more natural and then you can push volume. So it's kind of like still right here. I would say this is the number one lever because what this solves for is the economics of this is a live call. So like the cost per live call, as long as we can keep that down and in pocket, with the actual obviously quality and whatever. So like get them to show high quality, make sure all the framing and stuff is in there, and then make sure the costs are in alignment. Like that's the true north right now with this. And then these are just like necessary things. And then we can increase the volume. If we can increase the volume, we can press 5-8 million a month, I believe, just with the current setup and stack, just more volume through it. On the fulfillment side, there's actually a pretty big one, but I don't have any charts for this written out. Sorry, guys, I just got back from a trip and I've been go. So tech and data on this. We never really focus on this. I never really focus on this, and that is on me. But we do not have enough tech. We did not have a proper tech setup for fulfillment of the product on the customer-facing side or on the internal data side of what we were storing. So we kind of had like multiple sources of truth. We had communication over here. We had the platform they're all logging into over here. We have the billing over here, and like it worked again, like thousands and thousands of active customers. But it was time to centralize all the data and then make it so the stack is clean. So we are going through migrations of this right now, but this will allow for efficiencies in how we are able to, like for example, the client count per coach, let's say it's like 50 right now. We are going to be able to essentially like double that or call 30 to we'll just say double it. So it would be really cool. The real target's like 30 to 50% is what I was going to say there, to increase and then keep costs the same because their job will be easier when it's all in one tool and there is software. The software enables efficiency. So we're focusing on that. Retention, another big one. That was an issue of stuff that happened from sales, selling on, selling in a way and using financing stuff that, had them doing XYZ to get 24-month financing or all this for like an annual program, as well as how we were servicing the actual contracts. We'll service them super, super well for that first year, but not focused on like talking about their year 2, 3, 5 for life with us. And that was a big thing. So we shifted that up about 4 to 6 months ago. And so now we have another 6 to 8 months until that fully fleshes out for all the new people coming in who got that XYZ service, who were framed in XYZ way. Retention is actually working pretty well right now, but we have a big thing in July where we do a big retention push as like a special. So this one, but I just want more of an evergreen approach on here, more touch points, which does come from the tech and data because we need to know the activation points. And then LTV boost, this is either through partnerships or self of everything. I made a video on this yesterday, I believe, or 2 days ago, that all around how can we boost more, because the more you can fix this piece right here, I don't want to say the less it matters, but like it isn't as integral that you're perfectly like hitting KPI, like perfect KPIs on the hamster wheel of acquisition when you have continuous LTV boosts and like forever customers, because you obviously make more money off the current customer that you already paid once to acquire. So if we can focus on this, and that is for us, we rolled out a back-end product, but we also are going to launch 2 new things I don't really want to talk about yet, but we are focused on doing those, and I think we're going to do them in-house. So we're just shopping around, figuring out how we're going to do it, and when the timing of it makes sense cash flow wise / like size of volume, more so like volume. So like once we hit an XYZ volume, we feel like it'll make sense to do. So we have like 3 different tranches of how we're trying to layer this in, basically as a front end product increase, post-purchase for anybody that purchased any of those, back end after retention, and then basically a continuity thing for the entire customer base. So this is like a leaky bucket situation where it's like even if you're crushing this, the more you sell, like you're still not, if you don't have this solved for, you're just like, there's just money left on the table. So right now, this on the marketing side, this on the sales side, actually that one's kind of hard because it might be this, but we're going to say this because it is just directly out of the box, the biggest lever, which actually comes from marketing. Fulfillment is this on what we can do with either partnerships or in-house. And then the admin tech overhead piece is project management, which leads to team efficiency. So this is massive for us right now. Like we have so many talented people, but I'm like in there trying to organize it or structure it and then trying to have them lead them. And it's like they need like a PM inside the meetings that are like keeping up the ClickUp boards and doing all that. Like we have a lot of, again, really talented people at like their role, but things can slip through the cracks. Things can get timelines pushed out. It can take 5 people to make one decision on like a simple thing. And we're starting to get kind of there. So like I need to solve for this now. So I literally have interviews tomorrow to talk to people about just like how they do this and maybe hire one, but probably just like understand the structure of how people are doing this. Because this is huge. Like we have a large team now, and we want to focus on the team efficiencies and make sure that the person who comes in for $5,000 a month, assuming their ROI justified role, can make back $100 a month or whatever math, right? So yeah, those are the big like focuses for us right now. So to recap, in marketing, if we crack low ticket cold in the correct way, that'll solve the economics of the entire business because of the acquisition, because it's kind of like the biggest percentage of new unit. So if we can solve for that, with that piece, the show rates, so both from all of these as well. So these are basically lead funnels. This is a purchasing funnel. So you're talking to buyers versus leads. If you can solve for show rates, this would be a massive lever. And like, overnight 30% more in cash collected on the same volume if solved for. So that one is huge. Consistency performance is as well, but I believe if we solve for this, because the quality will go up, because the intention will go up as well, that this will just kind of follow, and then we can press volume, but like in a domino effect. On the fulfillment side, LTV boost, we're already working on the tech and data, and we're already working on this too, but it's just like, this is a much bigger game. This is like entrepreneur mode almost, where you're starting things up, and we don't want necessarily be the ones to do it. We want people in the team to feel empowered and have led it themselves, but also have like our eyes on it and kind of the double check on making sure that these launch correctly and that they make sense. And then also just like deciding how aggressive we want to go on this versus like, because for a lot of these LTV boosts, like you could just do partnerships. We're like, oh, someone with supplements will give me 40% or 60%. It's like, can we just take that and then press them over there and then make 10 grand, 50 grand, 100 grand from that, versus do you do it in house? If you do it in house, do you have 19 SKUs? Do you have $500,000 in inventory? Do you play that game? Do you play a 1 SKU game? Do you play, right? So we're just kind of like thinking through pieces of that. And that's just one like sub examples where I said supplements, but like we have 2 or 3 of those that are like based on feedback we got from the customers of our customer base are like massive. We just need to figure out how we're going to attack them. So this is a big one because it's like leaky bucket. Again, if you acquire a ton of customers, but you never have these in place, you're just losing the opportunity cost for money is just massive. Like if you look at our retention numbers on this last batch, like we probably, I mean, the quick math is 20-30 million on the table. Of the last 78 million, we probably literally missed out on 20 or 30 because of how we didn't have things built in for LTV, retention, all of that. And retention falls into the LTV boost bucket. So that's a big one. And then, now where we're at, we've tried to have project managers in the past and just kind of hasn't worked for us because we weren't at the size we needed them. And now it's funny because now we got up to the size and we don't have one. So I don't really know that I want to throw another person into the team stack right now, but if it's somebody who can manage the people in terms of like all the projects and cross-functional, and at some level, like I already do that. It's just I don't want to do that, and I don't want to focus on that in the future and be in all the meetings and like following up on due dates and doing all that kind of stuff. It's like, I want people to be accountable to do that, but I also want someone to be there right next to them, helping them structure these things out and build them into ClickUp or Asana or whatever you guys use, but we use ClickUp. And then, get the team efficiencies out and or just lean out the team if we don't find them. If we have someone come in and you realize, one person's doing one thing a week, it's like, no. So, those are our current ones. I like to talk about the wins and the losses. And right now we are a little bit on the struggle bus, stuck at this. Not stuck at this. We did 1.5-ish, 1.6, then 3, and then this month we're pacing around 3 again. But if we crack any of these, literally any of these, we should be able to just press to 5 with current volume. So show rate being better will get us closer to 4 and some change, and we would be able to push volume if that happened. Low take coal would change the economics completely, so the margin would just be insane difference, which would be huge. And then project management would be, a slight cause on the overhead stack, but if done efficiently, this one kind of overflows into being able to manage this, being able to manage this, and being able to manage this. So I'm kind of looking at personally, like this is my big lever number one, because if I can do this, then I can help marketing team be structured enough to roll this thing out and call it 2 weeks. I can have marketing team roll this out in the same 2 weeks because there's a big enough team over there, and I can have fulfillment and like ops team, product team working on this at the same time. So that's kind of where I'm at mentally with it, but hopefully this was helpful. I'm back in the office for a bit. And daily update. All the videos are here, www.ryanclogg.com/doc. I think today is day 108, 109, something in a row. I'm going to stop doing these daily soon. I don't know when, but one day I will. And then I'll go to like 2 or 3 a week. And that's what I got. I got some other fun ones on here. I do a weekly Q&A every week. If you have any questions, drop it on the request. I am doing a survey for info coaching people on what offers you have, where your cash collected is at, all that, just because I'm trying to get survey data and see kind of like people who follow me in the audience, where they're at. I'm not selling anything, so you can just check it out. And you can put your contact info on the end if you want me to reach out. And then Rolodex is going to be anybody that I work with or refer out or whatever. When people ask me for stuff, I just want to be able to send them a link. So sales agencies, softwares, whatever, all that kind of stuff, don't go to it. I don't care. I'll make any referral for free. I don't care. So that's that. And hit me on X or Instagram with any comments, questions, whatever, and leave some comments below this. I appreciate you guys, and talk soon.